Hey everybody, it's Brandon Lindsay, and today what I want to talk to you about is getting current with the IRS and filing back tax returns. So let's just get right into it. The first thing you need to figure out when you're doing this is what returns actually need to be filed. I had a client who came in and they hired me to do tax returns for 16, 17, and 18. Well, we got into it and started looking at the IRS file and actually realized that they hadn't filed 15 as well. So you need to make sure you know which tax returns actually need to be filed. So that's the first thing to consider is that. So what returns? The other thing you need to think about is your actual tax return documents. Now, since we're talking about multiple years, we're talking about multiple years of W-2s, 1099s, mortgage interest statements, all the annual documentation that gets sent out to you. You need to make sure you have that, or as much of that as you can gather up as possible. So get all your documents gathered. And you're going to see why that's important. The third thing you need to consider is the actual IRS file itself. And what I mean by that is your actual IRS transcripts. What many people don't realize is that the IRS actually gets copies of a lot of the same information that you get. So we're talking about W-2s, 1099s, mortgage interest statements, social security statements, any type of stock transaction detail. If you get 1099s or any of that stuff, more likely than not, the IRS is getting those same copies as well. So you need to make sure that you review your IRS file to see what the IRS has for you for what years, to make sure that you don't miss anything when you do finally decide to file all these delinquent tax returns. So you're going to take the documents that you gathered, you're going to look at what information has been filed with the IRS, you're going to compare the two, and then you're going to determine what all information is needed to prepare a complete and accurate tax return. So after you've done with that comparison, then you want to move on to the actual tax return prep. Now, you can see the tax return prep, you're going to need to do your IRS records. You're going to need to review your IRS records first. I had a client who they came in wanting to get some tax returns filed. They had their documents, but they hadn't reviewed their IRS file. So what happened was I reviewed the IRS file and determined that, yeah, they brought me some W-2 information, but they were also missing 401k distribution. They had pulled money out of a 401k and totally forgot about it. I didn't have the statement. They didn't have the statement. We went to the IRS records. The IRS had it. So I told them, okay, we need to make sure we get this on your tax return. So make sure you have all your records and do your comparison. And then you start to actually prepare the return. So you go through, you get all these tax returns prepared, let's say, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Well, obviously, 15, 16, 17 are all late tax returns. So you're more likely than not, especially if you owe, you're going to have failure to file penalties and failure to pay penalties. The IRS doesn't like when you're late filing tax returns and when you're late paying the IRS. So last point I want to bring up is, so what are you going to do when you owe a lot of money after you filed all these returns? So what I tell people is make sure that you have at least somewhat of an idea of what your financial situation is, because when you file all these late tax returns, you're going to start getting a bunch of notices from the IRS asking for our money. Where's our money? So you need to make sure you at least have thought about that or have given some consideration to it, because you can either pay it all in full or you can apply for one of the government programs like one of the payment plans. If you just need to pay a small amount off every month, you can do a payment plan. Or maybe you can't pay any of it at all and you want to looking to get in, it's called currently non-collectible status, where you can't pay anything. Or if you know you can't pay it at all and you don't have a chance of paying it at all, you may want to consider doing something called an offer in compromise. Offer in compromise is the tax settlement. You've probably seen a lot of commercials about some of that stuff. That's where the IRS will accept an amount. You can propose an amount that you can pay, and the IRS may or may not accept that. A lot of factors that go into that. But think about how you're going to pay your tax bill as well as you want to get current with the IRS with all your delinquent tax filings. So just wanted to put a quick video out there. Hope that was helpful. If you need help filing tax returns, late tax returns, or if you know someone that needs some late tax returns prepared, or they have a large tax debt and they need some help, feel free to reach out to me. You can call me, email me. All my contact information is going to be below this video in the link. Hope this was helpful for you. Thanks for watching. Bye.